Okay, so Star Wars will never reach his expectations because George Lucas is done with Star Wars. So then maybe, just maybe, Theory, you're done with Star Wars. Hey guys, it's Pete Fletcher here, and listen, I have to admit something. Star Wars Theory has not been releasing a bunch of bad take videos lately. He's gone back to his old lore videos, which I can't watch. I just can't take his monotone. I can't take his delivery. But that aside, at least he hasn't been releasing things that are just so crazy and off the mark that I had to comment, which I also have to admit means that my click-through rate in many cases has dropped. So I'm here to make another video because thank goodness he has released a bad take on Andor season 2, a show he said he wasn't going to watch, a show that he said he was not going to review. And of course, once you say that and then you go back into it, you have to have a reason for it. And we're going to get to those reasons. But let's watch his video together. I haven't watched all of it. I've watched some of it, enough to know that it's got some bad takes in it. And I'm excited to bring it to you right now. And again, I'm playing it at 1.5 speed because who wants to listen to this more than you need to? And when you watch this, there will be edits because I'm not going to make you watch him say the same thing over and over, which is a consistent feature of most of his videos. So without further ado, let's get this thing going.
Is it peak Star Wars? Hey guys, so as we get to this review of Andor.
That is a very weird cut to start your video, by the way. I don't know.
I want to make sure that you're all aware of the Emperor 2 saber that has been released and is a limited edition. All of you guys asked for.
Okay. It's important to know that anytime you watch anything by Theory, by Star Wars Theory, he's just trying to sell lightsabers now.
And I wanted to do my Andor review because I did watch it. Now, originally, I didn't want to comment on the show. Didn't mean I wasn't watching it or anything like that. But as I said in previous videos, I didn't want to comment on the show, make money from the show, review the show online. Because I felt
he didn't want to make money on the show. At least he's finally admitting that that's what he does. And we knew he was going to do this. We knew he was going to end up doing this. Once he said, I'm not going to watch it, of course he was watching it. And of course he was going to make comments on it. And so this is not a surprise at all.
At least most likely not. So anyways, the show. Look, the first 3 episodes really put me off. I wasn't into it. I didn't enjoy the whole jungle scene. I felt it was so slow. It was so pointless. It was so just not enjoyable for me. And some of the other scenes that I felt just didn't feel like Star Wars at all.
For a guy who wants to write, for a guy who puts together fan fiction, he does not have a full understanding of the creation of a world, setting the stage, and building a full story. This is a 24-part story, 12 if you look at just season 2. And you really need to have a base to work from. And so if you didn't like those first couple of episodes because they didn't feel like Star Wars with a, TIE fighter and conversations about the Senate and Chandrilla and things like that, then maybe you missed the point. But that's okay. Let's see what else you had to say about the show.
I had also seen Tony Gilroy's comments regarding Star Wars and how he wasn't a fan of it and didn't really care for it, and I just rubbed me the wrong way.
Tony Gilroy never said he wasn't a fan of Star Wars. Tony Gilroy just wanted to make a good story. He didn't care that it was in the Star Wars world, and he wasn't a fanboy like this guy or me. And that's okay, because what he did was he created probably one of the best Star Wars stories we have ever seen.
And then I went to Nashville ICC Con, and a lot of you were talking about it, a lot of like face-to-face, being like, give it a shot, give it a chance. Heartfelt comments, just not being trolls, just seriously, like, in person. I figured, okay, you know what, man, like, at the end of the day, I'm a man of my community. You guys have got me here, and so I'm going to watch it. And then I'll give...
It's like playing this Jesus position among the Star Wars fandom, which is kind of funny, but also kind of sad. But anyway, so again, let's take a look at this. He said up front, I'm not going to watch Andor. I'm going to take a stand. But we all knew that his fans, his acolytes were going to say, you have to watch it. And that is your entree and your reason for doing it. And of course, the bullshit alarm is going off here. You were watching it all along, as you said, and you're doing this again now just to get clicks so that you can sell more sabers and get more money through your YouTube channel. And that's fine. Look, I said at the top of this, that's what I'm doing. That's fine. I don't care. Have fun with it.
I started episode 4 because I'd already seen the first 3. Episode 4, slow, boring. 5, slow, boring. 6, slow, boring. 7, changed a bit. Episode 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For me, I know a lot of people are going to say something about this. Probably some of the best Disney Star Wars. You know what? After the first 6 films in the Clone Wars, probably some of the best Star Wars I have seen.
Okay, first of all, after the first 6 episodes and the Clone Wars, it is all Disney era Star Wars. So If you're going to hate it, at least understand it.
Listen, if you guys have been riding with me for a long time and you didn't watch the show, just jump into episode 7 of season 2.
Okay. You can't care about what happens on Gorman unless you have those first 6 episodes. But the problem here is he's outing himself, he's exposing himself as somebody who doesn't understand storytelling. Right. Without those first 6 episodes, the massacre on Gorman is nothing but pure violence porn. There's no reason to care about what's happening in the streets there unless you like to watch just death, destruction, murder, violence. This is also a guy who wishes he had seen what had happened more with Order 66 and wishes he had seen things like the massacre of the children in the temple. And if you watch his Vader films, again, there's not a lot of story. It is basically just watching violence, attacks, death, and no reason to care. And again, if you don't watch those first 6 episodes, if you don't watch the first 18 episodes of Andor, the violence in the streets, the death and absolute oppression of the Empire doesn't mean shit in the bigger context. Again, it's just violence for violence sake without the story.
Krennic's involvement, Ben Mendelsohn's a brilliant actor, his involvement with all of that, overseeing everything, and who we thought were the higher-ups at the ISB are really just little dogs to him. And if we go above him, we see Tarkin. Krennic is like the little dog. It's a really interesting story. And we see how they manipulate that entire overtaking of Gorman by the Empire doing the first shot and making...
Did he not say that you don't need to watch the first 6 episodes? Because that's where you get that stuff. That's where you get that story. So he's saying he didn't like it because it was boring, but that's where the setup was. This is the way stories are told. Setup, action, resolution. He has given up on setup, but is saying right here that he loved the setup. He found it very interesting. But again, you can't attack a Disney Star Wars project unless you have something wrong with it. And in this case, comes across as a nitpick, but the reality is it's just an exposure of your lack of understanding of how stories are told.
And it really shows the level of brutality and what the Empire really is all about, which is themselves, what Palpatine wants. Taking what he wants. You either give it to us or we're going to take it by force, and that's always been what the Empire is about. Wow, and now I just realized that rape scene was literally encapsulating that. All right.
Dude, that has always this is the problem. You don't understand the story. You're reactionary and you're just driven to dislike it. So you look for a reason to dislike it, and now you're watching the full story. Aha, why don't you try that? It's the same problem with The Acolyte. Nobody watched the full story before they had opinions. I still don't love The Acolyte, by the way. But that's what you got to do. You got to give a story an opportunity to unfold and tell you what it's all about. And yes, of course the Empire is going to take whatever they want. And no, it wasn't a rape scene. Let's be clear with that. That positioning of it makes it sound like it was graphic, like it showed what happened. In fact, it showed Bix standing up for herself, being in a situation where she was going to be assaulted, but stood up for herself and was willing to murder in order to save herself.
Okay. I was probably blinded by my hatred of The Acolyte and of a lot of the other Disney projects, and just the sheer annoyance that Disney Star Wars fans have, where you just can't have an opinion other than it was amazing, it was perfect, it was peak. Otherwise, you're racist, sexist, and homophobic, and I hate that. And I think
again, here's the thing: like, not every Star Wars fan is like that. There are a lot of Star Wars fans, and I will admit it there, and I can name them off the top of my head, who just go out there and praise everything. The reality is, there is enough Star Wars to not love everything, and I wish this guy would freaking understand that. Here's the other challenge, though, that goes with that. It's nobody's calling you sexist or racist unless you're taking it that way, and unless your comments are based on that. Look at, as I said before, I didn't love The Acolyte. Nobody called me a racist or sexist. I've been honest and open about my reasons for it. Nobody has called me sexist or racist because I don't have sexist or racist comments to go along with why I did not like those things. Okay. So this is what the reality is. And nobody would judge you if there wasn't a reason to think that.
I feel like with Andor season 2, beyond episode 7, look, the episodes before episode 7, in my opinion, are still shit. Boring, lame, not Star Wars.
Boring, lame, not Star Wars, only setting up the story that you admitted that you thought was very important. So I could go on and on and on about this. This is why I edit these videos, because he says the same shit over and over.
But you know what? I can judge things accordingly. I can disassociate quite well, compartmentalize.
I can disassociate quite well. I'm just going to leave that on its own.
Things, projects, events. I recommend episode 7 to 12. Give it a shot. You can even jump to episode 8 if you want. Episode 7, yeah, but it gives you the bit of the warm up to 8, which was
He's now saying maybe you can skip episode 7 because again, I really, and I've said this 100 times, is because in his videos he says the same things over and over again. You won't enjoy to the fullest episodes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 unless you watch episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and possibly even season 1.
pretty cool. Oh, and all of these dicks who said that it plays into my narrative to hate things. First of all, you're a weekend Star Wars fan, okay?
Okay, wait a second. This could be good. I haven't seen this part at all, so let's go with this. Here we go.
Who said that it plays into my narrative to hate things. First of all, you're a weekend Star Wars fan.
I'm not a weekend Star Wars fan. I'm a Star Wars fan since before you were born, buddy. But I'm not going to gatekeep like you might.
Okay, I've been in this fight my entire life, so don't come at me with that kind of bullshit. If I
He's got to be angry, and he's got to remember. So this is sort of like a fascist government, right? Kind of like the lessons we learned in Andor. Don't create a video unless you remind people why they're angry. And this is what he's doing right here. He got to 11 minutes before he started to drum up the troops, and this is what he's doing here. So let's see what happens. And this is great because this is playing directly into what I was doing with this video to begin with. Thank you so much, Theory, for setting this up. This is great.
really wanted to monetize this shit, I would have made videos about Andor until the cows come home. I know what makes money. I know what titles make money. I know what content makes money. If I was trying to do that, I would have never stopped making content about Andor.
Yeah, but you still did, right? And this is probably going to get a couple of other follow-up videos. This is the way he does things. So, and again, now he is getting those click-throughs. He is getting those advertisements for his sabers. So, don't buy into this sort of I could have if I wanted to bullshit.
Skipped the entire thing. No watch parties, no videos, no weekly breakdowns, nothing. I have integrity, and I stuck to it, and I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to cover it. But after you guys paraded my ass to watch this, I realized
He's now saying the only reason I'm doing this is because you want it. You, my fans, you, the people who have built my community. That's the only reason I'm doing this video.
that, look, at the end of the day, these are a lot of my community, the people who got me here, who are requesting for me to watch this. They want me to watch this. They want me to watch it with an open mind. So I did. And you guys weren't wrong. I can see where you were coming from. We're on the same page if we're talking about 7 to 12. So is it peak Star Wars? I don't think it's peak Star Wars. Peak Star Wars is the first 6 films. That's real Star Wars to me. Is this peak Disney Star Wars? Yes. And as high as it can go is George Lucas Star Wars. So this can be right.
Okay, so Star Wars will never reach his expectations because George Lucas is done with Star Wars. So then maybe, just maybe, Theory, you're done with Star Wars. I'm just saying. This was an experiment for him. I guarantee this was an experiment for him. I'm not going to watch this because I have said that I'm done with Disney Star Wars. And then when this comes out, I'm going to say I am not going to watch it because that would be hypocritical of me. But then you, my fans, wanted me to watch it. So I had to do it and I had to have an opinion. And then the exposure of his lack of understanding of what makes a great story. Yes, you can watch Andor season 2 from episode 7 through 12. You can absolutely do that. But the gravitas, the depth, the clarity, the drama that goes along with what all that meant is completely lost. You need to understand how stories are told. I urge people, go check out his first Vader film. Tell me what the story is. Tell me if you care about anything other than how cool Darth Vader looks murdering tons of people, right? That is all it is about. That's all this guy knows how to make as far as storytelling goes. And it comes clear through in this video. Again, the only reason I make these videos about Star Wars Theory is because he has the largest fan base and following. His opinions are absolutely stilted, and it's important that people understand that. I'm happy for him that he's able to make millions of dollars from his website or from his YouTube channel and from his sabers. That's living the dream, quite honestly. The problem is he's living the dream in such a negative way that he's having a really detrimental impact on the Star Wars fandom. And I don't like that. I don't. If you want to see positive commentary, not just positive, let me rephrase that, realistic commentary on Star Wars. We don't love everything. We don't hate everything. Come to us on Thursday nights. Check out our live show called ATG Live on Thursday nights here on the SSW network. You can join us. We have special guests. We go over the news. We give our opinions, and we give real opinions. If you go and watch some of our shows, you will see that we don't love everything. We have real issues. I've said it before. The Acolyte was a huge miss for me. but not because it was woke, but because it just didn't work for me on multiple levels and for valid reasons. You can agree or disagree with those reasons, but they're not based on anything other than story and execution. So, anyway, join us on Thursday nights on ATG Live. Follow us on all your social media channels at the SSW Network. You can follow me directly on Twitter and other social media networks at ATGcast. If you want to comment on this video, please make sure to do so below. Share it with somebody. Expose somebody to the way and the shallow depth of story understanding that this guy right here has. Share this video with some people. Comment on this video. I want to hear from you. And if you disagree with me, awesome. Let's have a conversation. Thanks for checking this video out. I really appreciate you spending the time. It went a little longer than I expected. But until next time, may the force be with you.